It was Bob Dylan who said that you don't need to be a weatherman to know which way the wind blows. Well, you don't need to be a cricket expert to know that England are in a commanding position at the end of day two. 439 runs ahead after scoring 499 for 9 declared. They have bagged the wickets of Zubair Hamza and Peter Malan, both to the spin of Bess. South Africa are on 60 for 2 and in a whole world of trouble. I'm Daniel Gallan. I'm running solo for this post-match report here inside the indoor nets at St George's Park at Port Elizabeth because it is raining outside. Don't worry, it's not going to be raining tomorrow, although if you were Mark Boucher and Faf du Plessis, you might hope that it rains until they get to Johannesburg. Like I said, South Africa in a deep, deep hole. How did they get there? Well, England started the day in a pretty comfortable position. Ollie Pope and Ben Stokes were in their 30s, and they just came out and were very, very fluent. They drove down the ground, they cut through the covers and backward a square, they flicked through the leg side. Stokes was imperious against Keshav Maharaj. He slog swept him for multiple sixes as if he was getting throwdowns. He really is just if I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. He is a magnet for the big occasion, and he just really seemed to grab it, the game that is, by the scruff of its neck. South Africa looked a bit scared bowling to him. They set fields, they thought they could attack Pope, but Pope just rode it. He accumulated the singles, and whenever Stokes was on strike, he found boundaries with ease. They put on 180 odd for their wicket, both of them scoring centuries. It was Ben Stokes' 9th century, Ollie Pope's maiden century. Sweet little anecdote from Ollie Pope, who's just, if you don't mind me saying, just a really, really lovely young man. 22 years old, got all the shots. He's in the makings of an elite cricketer. He's going to have a long, long career. He just said he didn't really know what to do with the celebration. He said that he'd obviously imagined it for quite a while. He'd seen Ben Foakes get his maiden century in Sri Lanka. He saw Dom Sibley get his maiden century in Cape Town. And he didn't know what to do. And I just thought that was a lovely human side of things. What wasn't a lovely human side of things was what happened yesterday when Kagiso Rabada bowled England captains Joe Root, castled him with a fantastic delivery. Yes, it kept low, but at that searing pace, anything can happen. Knocked the English captain's middle stump out the ground, and rather than go and celebrate with his mates, what did Rabada do? Well, he got up in Joe Root's face, he let out an almighty roar, and the match referee decided that that was too close for comfort, and he handed Rabada a single demerit and 15% of his match fee. But that demerit in isolation doesn't seem like such a big deal. But it was the 4th one that he's accumulated in the last 2 years, which means that he has now been suspended for the 4th and final test match in Johannesburg. A telling blow for Faf du Plessis and Mark Boucher, who are now without their spearhead. What to make of that? It really is hard to say. On the one, to err is human, but this is a repeat offender. And before the start of the series, I spoke to Kagiso Rabada, and he told me that he had learned from his mistakes, that he had matured, and that he had got that out of his system. Yes, Mark Boucher and Faf du Plessis will tell you that to be at his best, Kagiso Rabada needs to be revved up. He needs to feel like he is attacking from the outset, and that is what fires him up. But if it's at the detriment of the team, we have to wonder, is that really when he's bowling at his best? He can't contribute on the sideline in Johannesburg, and now South Africa have to come up with plan B. What they do remains anyone's guess. Of course, Kagiso Rabada is the only black African on the field at present. Dropping him for a like-for-like player, which is Bjorn Hendricks, if you're going to go with a strike bowler, means that the racial dynamics of the squad are now implicated. Temba Bavuma has just got 180 for the Lions, might come in, but then who do you drop? Zubair Hamza didn't look that great. He was rushed for pace by Mark Wood, who looked searing in the dark, and then gave his wicket away tamely. He'll probably need a big score, Hamza that is, in the second innings. But it's foolishness, it's stupidity, and we can get jingoistic about it. We can say that Rabada is hard done by, that the ICC is making the game soft and all the rest, but the rules are the rules, and he knows what they are. He's been nabbed for them before, and now he can't appeal for it. It's a level 1 offence which can't be appealed. As Mark Boucher said in the post-match presser, it's essentially a slap on the wrists, but it's a slap on the wrist that has now chopped the head off South Africa's attack. And if you Faf du Plessis, you are pulling your hair out. You are livid with the situation. You expect more. Yes, he's 24 years old, but he is the leader of the attack, and you do expect more. Look, he doesn't need me to tell him that. He doesn't need you to tell him that. He knows what he did was wrong, and he'll have to sit on the sidelines. But before he does that, South Africa have a game to save. As I said, 439 runs behind. Dean Elgar is there. He is ticking along nicely. He's going to have to go big. If he doesn't go big, someone else is going to have to go big. 2 centurions from England need to be matched by 2 centurions for South Africa if they're going to retain their 1-1 scoreline heading into their final test. I'm Daniel Gallan for SA Cricket Magazine. We'll catch you tomorrow.